Hi, my name is Bob Mazey, and I'm the president of the New Jersey Agents Alliance. And welcome to another edition in our ongoing series of interviews with key thought leaders in the insurance space. But before we introduce our first guest, I'd just like to make a shout out to our friends at Selective Insurance Company. Selective has been a great sponsor of this series and a great supporter of the independent insurance agency system here in New Jersey. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Mike Rosell, one of the principals at the Roselle Agency in Lincroft, New Jersey. Michael,
Bob.
welcome to the interview.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
So today we'd like to talk about the differences in how people can buy insurance. With the advent of the internet and lots of other mediums to buy insurance, I think it's somewhat confusing sometimes to consumers about how and where they can buy insurance and what the best experience is. So I'd like you to talk about, if you don't mind, the differences between an independent agent, a captive agent, and a direct agent. And I would suspect that most people in the public don't really know the answer to that. So can you help us demystify the difference between the direct, captive, and independent agency channel?
Sure. So there's a lot of ways to get insurance. You can walk down the street and hope to find one of those local independent agents or captive agencies. And of course, online, too many options really, to the point where it can be very confusing for people to really know what they're buying. Everything is about saving money and reducing costs, but never really gets to the heart of the matter of what is it you're insuring and what's the right way to do it. When you work with a direct writer or captive, generally speaking, they have one product, one solution, and they fit you into their product. Whereas an independent agent, working with somebody like myself or from the New Jersey Agents Alliance, we have 20 to 30 companies to find the product that really fits your needs rather than working backwards.
Right. So again, just to clarify, if I were to call a major national brand like an Allstate or a State Farm, these sort of companies, what I'm hearing is they're going to give me an Allstate or a State Farm quote.
Yes, they are. And they're going to sell you, generally speaking, on price because that's really the only way they can go after your account.
Right. But recognizing that, I mean, you had mentioned that you represent 20 insurance companies. We seem to be living in an era of technology, and I think everyone pretty much Googles almost everything nowadays.
Sure.
When they're researching a product or a service. So it's interesting that one channel gives you single choices where another channel gives you multiple choices. It seems to me that as much as consumers want to get choice, it seems a lot easier if I were to call an independent agent that will do all that shopping for me, so I don't have to your point, make 20 calls to compare rates. Is that basically
Sure.
how it works?
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Another big difference between us and those directs is the directs work for the company, and they are doing what's best for the carrier. As an independent agent, we have the flexibility of working with so many different companies to make sure we're working for the client.
Right, gotcha. Great. So, all right, next question. Does it cost more? Seems to me that if I'm doing it by myself, I should get some sort of, discount, if you will. But does it really cost more? I mean, if I get to the right product, does it cost more if I deal with you versus a direct writer?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to cost you a lot more when you work with that direct writer or multiple direct writers because you have to do that work over and over again. Not only can you save money, you can also save a lot of time working with an independent agent because we're going to do all of the work behind the scenes for you.
Right. And to that end, just to expand a little bit further, so if I go to a direct writer site or a direct-to-consumer model, I know there's Geico's out there and other major brands, and clearly they're wonderful business models as well. But if I were to go online and buy my own insurance without a Mike Rosell or without an independent agent,
Sure.
So let's say that experience is good for me. I buy it primarily on price. Admittedly, most people don't understand the nuances of insurance. So what if I made a mistake? What if I bought my homeowners online because it was easy and there was an app and it seemed reasonable and I hit purchase and I got my policy, but never really had all these conversations that I think you may have with your clients, and I made a mistake? whose problem is that?
Well, that's definitely going to be your problem. That's certainly something that can cost you. When you work with one person who's selling one product, they can't give you the flexibility or the options to really choose what it is that you need or what's important to you. Again, working with an independent agency, we know the markets and the appetite for multiple carriers, so we can help direct those policies for you, so you make sure you're getting what you truly need.
Right. So when I go online or call your agency and I say, I need homeowners insurance, what do I need to tell you?
All right. Well, the good thing is we ask you all the right questions, so we can come up with that solution
good.
for you.
Excellent, excellent. So one last question on this topic and we'll move on. So are all homeowner policies created equal? Is it the same coverage, let's say, with an auto insurance policy, or with homeowners insurance, are there more facets or more options or more things that consumers need to know about?
Sure. I would say that the auto insurance market's much more linear and much more easy to compare one policy versus another. The online carriers have done a great job of giving you those apples-to-apples quotes. There's too many nuances to a homeowner's policy. There's different policy forms, different endorsements, different underwriting guidelines for those people that live maybe away from the coast or those that are right up on the coast and need additional lines of business like a flood insurance policy. There's
Right.
too many different things to consider, especially on the homeowner side of business.
Right, and it's interesting you bring that up because it seems after COVID, we've all been sort of sent home and we're working from home, which is clearly different than the past. I've heard of some employees that work from home, have business property, have built offices in their homes, have built, studios in their home, and really adapted their home with business items that they normally would have had at an office or somewhere else. So does that mean that a standard homeowner's policy will cover that change in the occupancy or the type of property there? Or is that something that also has to be discussed and treated differently?
Sure, yeah, there's been a lot of changes. If we've all learned anything, it's we have to be ready to adapt to change, and that's part of that is getting and updating your insurance policy so you can address those concerns. People are buying webcams and other type of technology so that working at home is a little bit easier, and some of those items need to be addressed a little bit further than just your standard homeowner's form.
Right. So again, another question on the independent agency versus other options. So in addition to fulfilling requests for coverage, any other things that you do that might be more community facing or supporting your clients through referrals or other value added services beyond just providing a policy?
Sure. So when it comes to being an independent agent, we work with a lot of professionals in the industry. Those that help up with claims remediation, water remediation during major storms like we had a couple years ago with Sandy or Irene. We know the contractors that we can help get people taken care of if it's claims that do happen after hours. Making that important for our agency, it gives our clients a little bit more comfort knowing that they have somebody that they can count on. That's local and knows, the heartbeat of the community.
Right. And I think that's really important nowadays. I mean, if you've ever called a service provider, your credit card company, your bank, I think lots of people get frustrated with getting caught in, phone messaging loops and so on and so forth. Doesn't feel very personal to me. But when you're at the Roselle Agency or you're a client of the Roselle Agency, am I going to get stuck in a myriad of voicemail options, or can I actually get to a real person that knows who I am and cares about me?
Sure. One of the things that we've certainly continue to hold on to is the fact that we still answer the phone. We haven't gone to an automated system just
Excellent.
yet. We like to know that when our clients call in, they get to speak to somebody right away.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it sounds like you've got a great operation. Clearly differentiate yourself from the other options. So, let's get personal. Let's wrap up, and I'll hit you right over the plate on this. So, why choose the Roselle Agency?
Well, I like to think when you work with the Roselle Agency, we're gonna help you understand what you need. Unless you have the perspective of comparing different policy options, you're just going to be chasing a price, because that's what all the online carriers are telling you. It's about saving money and reducing costs. When you do that, you get what you pay for. So we want to make sure that you understand the risk that you're taking and how we can better manage that risk with the right insurance policy for you.
That's great. Super. So I guess the old adage, you get what you pay for, also applies to insurance?
It absolutely does.
That's great. That's great. So, Mike, thanks again for joining us today. This was very, very helpful. How can people connect with you?
Sure. You can check out our website, roselleagency.com. You can get all of our contact information. We're also involved with, of course, all the different social medias, and we'd love to work with anyone who wants a professional on their side.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. This is great. Also like to make a shout out to our friends at Selective Insurance Company. Selective, again, very dedicated to the state of New Jersey. That's where their home office is. Very dedicated to the independent agency channel, and certainly a great partner with the New Jersey Agents Alliance, for which we're very grateful. So thanks again, Mike.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you to our friends at Selective, and we look forward to doing this again. Thank you for watching.